Hey guys, what's up? It's just Connor here. Hope you're having an amazing day as per usual. Welcome back to the Tasmanian studio. The camera's now working, the audio is now back and functioning. So hopefully the content is now tolerable from a visual and audible perspective, right? For some reason, my equipment just wasn't collaborating with me in Bali and just would not work. But for some reason, it is now working here. So I'm going to be back in Tasmania for the next 60 days. So you see a somewhat similar setup for the next 7 to 8 weeks. At the back end of January, I'm going to be off to Dubai and then going to be living across the world in many different spots and places, which will be super exciting. You guys will see that on the Instagram. You'll see that on the YouTube channel as well. I'll be documenting everything there when that happens, right? Life updates aside, let's talk about today's video's topic. And let's just dive in. So the title of this video is going to be something similar along the lines of high ticket sales versus traditional education, right? Now, I don't have experience in both, right? Anything that is past pre-tertiary education, which is compulsory education here in Australia. But I do have some insights from certain stories and certain knowledge I've been given and passed down from business owners that I would like to share with you on the emphasis as to why, in my belief and in my opinion, obviously depending on what you want to do in your career and just in general life, learning a skill that can get you paid is one of the most advantageous things that you can do over going the traditional path like college, like traditional education, like university, right? University is the word we use in Australia. Most other places in the world like to use college. So I'm going to use both of them here just so you have a good understanding of what I'm talking about, because majority of you are from the US, UK, and Australia, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So I've got a couple points I want to talk about, but I'm just going to give some context. So before getting into high ticket sales or learning the skill of sales, the skill that can get you paid, I was quite lost myself, right? I had really no idea what I wanted to do. Back when I was finishing high school, so up to what we call year 12 here in Australia, I'd failed science. So I wanted to be a chemical engineer because my cousin was one, and I wanted to do something that sounded fancy, that seemed like it would make my parents proud of me and seemed like it could make that magic 6-figure salary, right? And because I failed science, I wasn't able to do that, and I wasn't sure what I actually wanted to do with the rest of my life. And for a lot of young people, which, a good portion of you watching my channel are on the younger side of things, it is very overwhelming, and it is a lot of pressure that's placed on you when you're finishing high school and deciding what you want to do. Do you go to university? Do you go to college? Do you do the same thing as everybody else? Or do you do something different? And if you do something different, there's a lot of pressure that is really put on you of making that work, right? Because everybody, the vast majority of people, are going to go to university and college because that is the traditional pathway for the masses, most people. But if you're watching my YouTube channel, you're probably considering doing something different and going a different path, my friend. So here are some things that I would like you to consider when looking at learning a high paid skill versus going through traditional education. One last thing that I want to mention. Before I made my decision about wanting to do something different, whether it was high ticket sales, running my own business, really whatever it is, I actually had a sit down conversation with a very successful local branding expert that ran his own marketing agency here in my local town, Launceston, Tasmania. And this man was very kind. I think his name was Rich or Rick. I think so. I might be getting that wrong, but we had a coffee for about an hour, and he was very, very, very helpful. And long story short, he told me, he's like, Connor, if you want to do anything, anything near my field like digital marketing, you have to understand, I don't care about it whether or not you have a fancy degree. I don't care if you studied marketing for 3 to 4 years. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Business, whatever. I don't care about your degree at all. I care about the skills and the experience that you can bring to the table, right? If you do not have experience, you are not valuable. If you do not have skills you can bring to the table to the business that can make me more money, well, then it makes absolutely zero sense. And that was a big breakthrough for me, because a lot of people will tell you that you need to go get this fancy university degree or go to college to get like these massive roles, which I think is not really true for the most part. Obviously, if you're going to become a lawyer, a doctor, a medical professional, sometimes an actual degree is required to work in that profession. If a degree is not required, in my opinion, I actually think it's better to get experience on hand in field and actually learn tangible skills to make you more employable and more valuable to the economy, more valuable to the marketplace, right? That's how people get hired, right? So that's one last thing I wanted to mention before going into my points. So first reason why I think you should learn a high paying skill, a high income skill, as a lot of the marketers like to call it nowadays, is that you learn skills that are adaptable to the market, right? You gotta understand, with AI coming in and the new progressions in technology, there's going to be many people that lose their jobs, right? If you don't believe me, that's okay. You can go Google podcasts and interviews from AI experts warning the masses of what is yet to come from AI and how many jobs it's yet to replace, right? If you go ahead and take a look at different softwares that have been developed more recently, or different AIs like Air.ai, for example, that will automatically replace customer service reps within the next 1, 2, 3 years, right? Especially at the state that it's at right now. So you need to develop skills that, again, adaptable to the market and how they change, right? AI, for example, is going to replace customer service. It's going to replace a lot of admin roles, right? It's going to replace a lot of jobs in 2024 and moving forwards. And so you need to learn skills that are going to, again, adapt to the markets changing, right? There's going to be, again, like other professions that you study. I don't know what example that I can give you right now, but just a university degree, a piece of paper, will not ensure your sustainability and your income moving forwards. You need to think about what skills you're learning and become more valuable to the marketplace, the economy, and the new economy that's developing, especially with AI, so that you're always employed, you're always hired, right? You always have somebody that you can work with. And the reason why high ticket sales is so good is because AI is not replacing a full-time sales rep anytime soon. I can guarantee you that, right? It's a skill that, again, is constantly adaptable to the market, because every single business owner, for the test of time, has always and will always need a salesperson, right? They need that person to bring in the money for the company. And so when you understand that, skills like that, skills like copywriting, skills like marketing, right? Business owners are always going to need attention. Business owners are always going to need people to convert that attention, right? People like that. This is always going to be needed. And it's probably one of the most highest priorities in any business. So that's why I picked that skill to learn, because I knew that no matter what happens, economic downturns, whatever, no matter the market changing, as long as I'm learning the right skills and I'm basically being adaptable to the value I can add to the marketplace and the business owners I'm working for, I should be okay, right? So that's my first point. Like learning a high income skill over something that, again, just isn't adaptable and interchangeable with the market and how flexible it changes is highly advantageous, especially with a lot of the stuff that they're teaching in universities and colleges nowadays are regularly updated, or once you learn the information and the education, a year, 2, 3 years pass by and the information is already outdated. With especially how fast technology is moving nowadays, you need to be prepared. So second point, learn a skill that gets you paid, right? If you learn a skill that is the same as everybody else, if you go to university, if you go to college and you study the same thing that hundreds upon thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people have access to the same knowledge and information, education as you look like the same as the rest. Yes, you can get better grades than everybody else, but in the actual field, in the day-to-day, right? What makes you different? And more importantly, in what profession can you get paid the big bucks, right? If you're in a career or an industry or profession to where you can only increase your income by experience and time in the field, right? That's less than ideal, because we're going to take longer to get to our ideal income and where we actually want to be with our income, right? And so For example, if you're an accountant and you're working inside of an accounting firm, typically it takes you time and experience to increase your income. Whereas with sales, for example, the better that you get at it, right? It's not defined by time. Obviously, time helps, but time and experience, you can gradually increase your income. First year in sales, you can make 6 figures. Second year, you might make multiple 6 figures. Third year, you might make multiple 6 figures, right? $300,000 plus, which is entirely realistic, entirely possible. I have friends that not are just in high ticket sales, but are selling software as a service sales, making close to $1 million per year, right? And he's very young, right? 24 years old, right? It's entirely possible for you. But the thing is, you have to understand that your income has to be scalable, and you have to have the opportunity to add more value to the marketplace or the business owner that you want to work with, the business or company that you want to work with, so you can increase your income, right? Super important to understand. If you go and work in a career profession that doesn't allow that progression, then your income stays stuck and you'll never earn more than where you show up, right? If you show up for more hours, you don't get paid more, you just get perhaps a bit of recognition. And then eventually, again, like your boss just tells you like, hey dude, like good job, pat on the back. Here is a $1 to $2 pay raise, right? Or like a couple $100 per year pay raise, right? It's simply not enough in today's economy. And so that's why I think learning a skill, for example, like sales, can put you in the amazing position of being able to, the more value add to the business in direct proportion, the more that you get paid, right? And so that's why I think it's, again, such a great profession to get into, especially if you're on the younger side, right? If you're looking to get something, if you're looking to like a summer job or whatever it really is, like it's the best thing to start out with, and it's by far the best skill to learn, right? Next point. So it makes you less redundant if you're good in any economy, right? A thing to understand is, like we mentioned with AI before, and just in general, any business, sales is the core function of any business, right? That's how businesses grow. It's how they become better. It's how they become a great business, right? And that's how they sustain themselves. And so the sales is the core function of any business. It's the cash flow. It's the oxygen. It's how a business continues to grow and how it even survives and sustains. So in any economy, right, majority of the time, the salespeople, especially if you're the best salesperson on the team, you're a high performer, you're going to be the last one that gets cut off. You're going to be the last one that loses jobs. And even better, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're a high performer and you're good at sales and you can make people money, you're not going to have to worry about where your next dollar ever comes from. Again, I've said this in a podcast I did recently, which you guys will see coming in the next couple of weeks. It's just getting edited and uploaded with another gentleman. I did the podcast which was Joester and Nomadic Closer Academy. Essentially, what I said is I'll never make less than $25,000 to $30,000 a month as long as I live, right? Maybe I might have a dip for a month, but I'll be back to where I want it to be because I have all the skills necessary. I know the right people to talk to. I know the right networking strategies, but more importantly, I know how to sell. I know how to find the right opportunities. I know what to look for. And I know that people are always going to be hiring salespeople. It doesn't matter what's happening. People are always going to be looking for people that can make them more money, right? Very simple to understand, very common sense. But again, it makes you less redundant because your skills enable you to go and create money literally out of thin air, right? If you can have conversations with people and get them to pay you money, you'll never have to worry about money ever again for the rest of your life. And trust me, 4 to 5 years, 3 years, 2 years is good enough for you, or long enough for you to get good enough at this skill to where you'd never have to worry about where your next dollar is coming ever again, which is, again, a great thing to have at the back of your mind. Whether or not you have a family in the future and blah, 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 it's very good to have in place, right? Next thing is that you actually sell something that you enjoy, right? A lot of people, when they do traditional study, they're not even sure if they'll like this thing, right? Let's say, for example, in sales, you like fitness, you're passionate about fitness. How about you go sell fitness, right? Maybe there's a skill that you want to learn that you want to get better at, right? This is not really often talked about. Let's say that you want to learn more about real estate investing and real estate coaching, right? All you need to do is go and work for an offer that teaches that or helps that, right? If you want to start your own business in the future and in some industry or category or field, go and work with the business as a sales rep, because you're going to learn everything that you need to know about the back-end processes, client fulfillment, marketing, sales processes, everything that's going to be successful, so that when you start your own thing, you've got everything that basically works already. And so I've done that in the past, and I've worked with other companies so I can learn the right skills practically for free and get paid a lot of money to do so, right? For example, I work for a coaching company that helps coaches grow, right? So what did I learn? I learned how to run a team efficiently. I learned how to do marketing efficiently. I learned how to think the right way. I learned how to sell, right? Even better. I learned how to market. I learned a bunch of different skills, which again makes me so much more employable to compared of the person that just has a degree that is so linearly boxed into one field, right? Hoping I'm starting to make sense here, right? The more skills that you have, the more valuable that you become. And the more skills that actually equate to someone making more money, again, the more money that you'll make. Super simple, guys, but really often overlooked. And so it's not only that, but it's also something, when I say enjoy, you actually enjoy your job, right? You love what you do. The amount of people that I've met nowadays that literally just are working such a soul-sucking job that they absolutely hate, and they're earning barely enough to get by, especially in this economy, why not learn a skill that can get you paid, but also enjoy it, right? That's a pretty cool thing to do, right? I talk about these guys with the guys inside the RSA community all the time. If you want to learn more about dating, cool, go work with a dating coach. If you want to learn more about real estate investing, go work with a real estate investment coach. If you want to learn the skills to run a business, go work with a business coach, right? There's honestly nothing cooler and nothing that really allows you to do that. Whereas like in the US, right, for example, some of you guys are paying, over $100,000 or $200,000 in student debt, where you could literally learn that for free from a company, working with them and getting paid way more money than you would have in any other profession, right? Absolutely bonkers. Not a lot of people consider this, but something that I want you to really consider if you're sitting here watching this, thinking about getting into sales or learning that, doing it as a career. And this is pretty much mixed with the similar and same points as before, but sales is a skill ultimately that you can always fall back on, right? As I mentioned before, it makes you redundant, but it gives you that sense of that peace of mind. It gives you that sense of security, because no matter what happens, no matter what goes on in the economy, no matter whether or not you lose your job, if you get good at this skill and you are a high performer, again, you'll never have to worry about where your next dollar comes from. You never have to worry about financial security, because you will always be able to learn on a skill where you can make other business owners money. And there's always going to be somebody in the world that will want you to pay you money for bringing more customers and clients. There just is, right? That's just a fact, right? It's not just an opinion. That is a fact. So that's it for today's video, guys. I know this has gone along long enough, but hopefully this will sell you on the idea of you need to learn a high ticket skill rather than just relying on traditional education nowadays, right? The amount of people that I see nowadays that are my age, because I'm 23 right now, I just turned 23 back in November, that can't find jobs, or they find a job and it's shit and it sucks, it's soul draining work, they don't get paid the amount that they thought they were initially going to earn when they were told by the university professors or college professors, and it's a big struggle for them, right? So heed my warning, take my opinions and do with them what you will, but hopefully, again, this is some insights from someone who's taken a different path than the traditional, of gone into to learn, again, a skill that can make people more money, and basically I can add more value to the table. One last thing that I want to mention here. I'm also, with sales, by the way, very easily to be able to negotiate management contracts with 7-figure and multi-7-figure companies. You can get cuts in them, right? Such a leverageable skill, right? Even though I have the RSA, I still somewhat work in the trenches as well, because again, I absolutely love this stuff, right? But it can show you I can earn more than someone will with a traditional salary, studying years and years and years for a certain degree or whatever it might be. And I can be working way less and have it be way more leveraged and still earn more income, right? which is super cool to look at. But nonetheless, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I know it was a bit ranty, but hopefully you got some insights and you found today's video valuable. With that said, I'll see you in the next one, guys. And have an amazing day.